I never claimed not to be a narcissist, but this is the best piece of art anyone's ever created. Hands down. I am crafter. I see stuff on YouTube and think that I can do them too. Sometimes I can, but sometimes it's really hard. Let's see that how well I can do. I crafter. Is drawing actually crafting? Well, that is a philosophical question that is, frankly, way above my pay grade or my knowledge. But I'm considering it crafting because I want to put this in iCrafter. I actually did take classes. I had to take classes on drawing in order to pass a test that let me study art in last year of high school. It's a whole system that I'm really not eligible to talk about. It's the Iranian education system is not the best, but yeah, I actually did take classes on drawing, but I still suck at it. The fact of the matter is my style in drawing is less flowy and more blocky with flat colors, and my main mediums are colored pencils and gouache. But today I want to try something that I've never touched before, a pen set. So this is the pen set. If you look at the packaging, it says it's memory comic pen set. Here in Iran we call it metal pen. But yeah, it has 4 different heads and 2 bodies, and apparently you're supposed to use it with ink. I actually bought it back when I was going to the class. So it's at least 6 or 7 years old, but I never used it. I never learned how to use it. I've opened them once to see how it works, and yeah, it goes in this end, not in this end. But I've never used them. For whenever I need to use ink, I usually use one of these, a fine liner. And even though they are amazing, they are not really flowy. They are more for, well, detailing or getting consistently drawn light. They are not really brush pens or anything like that. So I'm hoping with this I get a more organic feeling and a more flowing feeling of art. I mean, at least that's the hoping. But first, what are the tools? The pen set, without whom this project will not even exist. A vial of ink. This is just normal black ink. As you can see, it's not even branded or anything. A vessel for our ink, a recipient that we put ink in. A pencil, preferably sharpened, for sketching. And some normal A4 copier paper. Nothing special, just run-of-the-mill copy paper. The game plan is non-existent. Now, I know in the beginning it says I see stuff on YouTube, but frankly I've never seen a video on how to use this pen set. Now, even though I have no YouTube videos that I can follow step by step, there are some I can look for them, but I'm not going to because I think this is more fun. Anyways, I did ask a friend of mine who is an artist for some tips on how to use a metal pen set, and he gave me a few advices. First, the paper. Now, as I said, I'm going to use regular copier paper. This is the stuff that is easily available, and it's actually good because this episode is actually sort of a prequel to a bigger project that I'm hoping to get out pretty soon, and that one is really exciting, and that one will also use regular copier paper, so there won't be a difference in material. The only thing he said is that make sure the paper you use is not fibrous, meaning it's not one of those cheap craft adjacent papers that we used on the first episode, those fibrous ones, not one of those. So regular copier paper is supposed to work. Secondly, the sketching. Now, this is something that I know how to do. For even my very basic stuff, I usually does sketch something and then go with a fine liner and, you know, do the lining. But for this one, I will still do the sketching because this is much easier to remove with an eraser than ink. Thirdly, the ink itself. Now, this is something that is called, I don't even know, I don't think they are even a company or something like that. It's just ink. It says traditional ink of Arian. I think that is the brand, but you know, it's just regular ink. Nothing thinning in it or anything other. It's just ink, just regular ink. But I can't use it here. I prefer not to. This is first of all, it's too tall and it's not very safe. It is prone to tip over, which is why I'm going to use this. It's a glass vial. I don't know what was in it originally, but it's not there anymore, so I'm going to use it for this project. And it has a screw on top, which actually is important because I try to keep things as tidy as possible. As for the pen set itself, as I said, I haven't opened it yet. I will open it on camera, but the head I'm going to use is this one, this second one. And the reason for that is actually no reason. I think the first one is kind of intimidating looking, and these two ones are too small, so I'm going to use this one. Now, I seriously don't know why I need to do a section on safety, but I'm going to. The usual disclaimers. I think this one is more prone to messiness than it is injuries, but you know, they are metal and they are sharp, so you know, take needed precautions. But the biggest problem here is cleaning up. So here's that moment. I'm going to open it up. This is the least exciting unboxing on YouTube, but you know, it's unboxing nonetheless. Okay, there seems to be some resistance. I don't know if that's normal or not, or if I'm using am I using the wrong one? No, they're exactly the same. It should go in. What am I doing wrong here? It should go in, right? You see, it's one of these ridges should accept it. And you know what? Screw it. I'm going to use the other head. Oh my god! It completely ruined the pen. I mean, these are cheap. I'm not surprised that, you know, they are not the best quality. But you know, I didn't think it would be this bad. I mean, I have to bring another tool. You know what, while I have the tool out, which is a normal plier, let's see if I can use the pull to push it in. Okay, I pushed it, I think, as far as I can. It's not going in, but just to be safe, this wasn't in the original plan, but you know, this is why I film everything. And I'm going to use this one as well. I'm going to use both of them. Let's see if this works. I'm not as hopeful as I was when I started this video. Now the messy part. The first part where I can actually make a mess. I'm going to fill this just like a fifth of the way with ink. Now for the first part, I'm not going to sketch anything. I'm just going to see how well I can do with the ink. Just, you know, give it a test. Well, as you probably can see, it doesn't work. I don't know what am I doing wrong. Is there not enough ink here? Did I break this head because... Oh, no, here it is. Let's see if I can write my name. Ink. Okay, first impressions. It's actually kind of fun to work with. Again, I'm not good at it by any means, but I can control it to some extent. And I think if I have a sketch underneath where I can see that what should I draw, I can make better stuff. Again, I think my sitting position is not very good for drawing, so I will change the surface which I'm drawing on pretty soon. But aside from that, so far it's been successful, I think. I mean, look at this amazing work of art. So here I am in the voiceover part of the video, and so I started with a sketch. I decided to draw a Tim Burton-esque monster because, first of all, I like that aesthetic. I really like the aesthetic of Tim Burton, that gothic look, and also I think it's the aesthetic that works best with ink. And then it was time to open the ink and start working with the pen set itself. It was kind of hard to control the flow and get a consistent line, but even though, as I said, I've never worked with this medium before, pretty soon I realized how I can control it to at least get the line to go down smoothly. And I sort of decided to also do these lines to differentiate from the suit that the character is wearing and the shorts that he's wearing. Gave it sort of a Wicker Man look, which again is something that I really love. My only advice is that don't work while there is a running fan in the background because it will try to throw your paper away, so you know. That was my problem. You can also work in the backing and tape it down. That should work too, if you need that fan there like I did because it was so hot. Then it was time for the face. I also have this thing that I love to do for eyes, which is a bunch of semicircles intertwined with each other. I think it gives the eye a manic look, and it's something that I've done in every portrait I ever did. But yeah, after that I just started doing the textures, and it was very therapeutic. My mind sort of could wander away and my hands would just draw these lines. You can see what this got me in a mood to if you can listen to what I was singing with to myself. Leave your razor high, Sweeney, hear it singing, yes. Stick it in the rosy skin of righteousness. And after that, the whole painting was done and it was time to sign and date it. And here's the final product. Now, I know this may not look like much, it is not much. It's literally the first time I've ever used this medium and this tool. And for the first time, I'm actually kind of happy with it. It clashed well with the style that I usually do, and I know it's far from perfect, but it's a good starting point. I'm kind of weirdly proud of it. Now, a few things I've learned while working with the medium is that it is harder to control, but it's very easy. It's very intuitive. And how is it better than a normal fine liner? I think the biggest thing is the texture. I mean, the texture is just amazing, even though I'm pretty sure if you try, you can get it with a fine liner, but just the feeling of holding that metal pen, it's very therapeutic. I highly recommend you just give it a go, even if you're not very much into drawing. It's really fun to tackle. Other than that, I'm sure with a bit of a practice, which I will do off camera, because honestly, the weirdest thing about this whole experience, the hardest thing, was taking care of a camera and making sure that my hand's not in the way and just presenting it for the camera. So I'm sure off camera I can do much better when I'm not mindful of where the camera is, and with a bit of practice I'm sure I can do better. And as I said, this is a prequel to a bigger project. It's so exciting. I can't wait to get to that, but it's going to take a long time. So yeah, that is why this series doesn't have a schedule. I'm not going to say come back here every week. It just happens as the projects happen. It might take months for a new episode. But yeah, I'm sorry, this is just a thing it's going to be. I should have said this in the last episode, but you know. It's the plight of not having the script. As I said, I'm weirdly proud of this little Burton-esque monster, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but you know. Do tell me in the comments below what you think I did wrong during this whole thing, if you know how to work with a metal pen, and any good advice I will definitely pin at the top, of course. I guess with this done, I can now get working on a much larger project.